My wife and I just celebrated 22 years, and I love her, but I'd be lying if I didn't say there's been some difficult moments. There have been some awkward moments when it seems like maybe we would do better going our own way. And with our relationship with God, it is not all roses. This is not a fairy tale where we live happily ever after. This is real life, and there will be some awkward moments. There will be some moments when it looks like this is not working together for my good. And Jesus is saying, will you love me past those moments? Jesus tells him, if you love me, here's what I want you to do. Forsake the familiar and fortify the flock. Okay, y'all didn't hear me. If you love me unconditionally, forsake the familiar and fortify the flock. Here's what that means. He's saying, will you put others before yourself? Will you teach them and guide them? The big, okay, y'all got to hear me, the big and the small. Lord have mercy. I didn't even want to preach this part. The mature and the immature. The cooperative and the rebellious. The appreciative and the ungrateful. Will you fortify the flock regardless of what the flock does? Because I'm telling you, God's flock will make you want to quit. God's flock has caused 1,400 pastors a month to walk away from their pulpit. God's flock has called people to turn their back on the church. God's flock will make you stop wanting to serve. God's flock can get to the point you don't even want to look at them. And Jesus is saying, do you love me enough to fortify the flock even when they don't appreciate it? When you'd rather just not deal with your family no more, will you still fortify them? Forsake the familiar. Fortify the flock. And Jesus asked the question a third time. Do you love me? You know, I don't know for sure, but I believe one of the reasons Jesus asked a third time was because he was trying to cancel out the 3 times he had denied him. He did not want the denial to be his existing legacy. And so he asked him 3 times, do you love me unconditionally? And I don't know about y'all, but being a man that has messed up, sometimes you are a little reluctant to give your word at that level again. And Peter just keeps saying, I got affection for you, Jesus. And by re-asking the question, Jesus is saying, affection will not be enough to get you through what's coming. If you don't really love me, this thing will take you out. And can I be real plain? Because Satan wants you to quit. He let that person get on your nerve because the goal was to get you to quit. He let that person in the church say the very thing that he knew would take you over the edge because he wants you to quit. He will send a family member, a church member, a co-worker. He will use anybody he has to use to get you to quit. So Jesus asked him a third time, and I believe what he's asking is, will you finish faithfully? Will you finish faithfully? When they've hurt you, will you finish faithfully? When nobody would blame you for quitting, will you finish faithfully? And God just sent me by here to ask you, will you finish faithfully? When you struggle with your health, will the love of God pull you over to the other side? When it feels like you've lost out by doing what God asked you to do, will the love of God pull you to the other side? When it looks like everybody has prospered around you but you, will the love of God pull you to the other side?
Oh, yeah. Love God with faith. Oh, yeah. I was running in circles, jumping the hurdles, getting caught in that rush of doing so much. I was feeling kind of worn out.